Every morning you see it, on the pillow, in the shower drain, in the comb you no longer look at directly. You told yourself it was stress. You told yourself everyone loses some hair. You told yourself it would stop. It has not stopped. And here is what nobody has told you. Your hair does not fall out without reason. Every strand that left was a message. And your body has been sending that message for years, not randomly, not inevitably, as a signal, a whisper, just like every other whisper your body sends after 40, that most people spend their entire lives ignoring. Today, that changes. Because what researchers at Columbia University and the Cleveland Clinic have discovered about hair loss after 40 is not what you have been told. It is not simply genetics. It is not simply age. It is biology. It is hormones. It is inflammation. It is nutrients your body stopped absorbing efficiently the moment you crossed 40. And research suggests that addressing these causes consistently over time can meaningfully slow the progression and in many cases support regrowth. Stay with me. If you are not yet part of the vitalaura family, subscribe right now. Every Saturday we bring you the real science behind what your body is going through after 40 and the simple natural solutions that actually work. No pills, no supplements, no complicated programs. If you missed last week's video on why your back hurts every morning, the one with the 5-minute morning ritual that addresses all 4 biological causes, the link is in the description. Watch it after this. This video is for educational purposes only. Always consult your physician before making changes to your health routine. Now, before we talk about what to do, we need to understand what is actually happening. Your hair grows in cycles. Each strand goes through 3 phases. A growth phase, called anagen, that lasts 2 to 7 years. A transition phase, called catagen, that lasts 2 to 3 weeks. And a resting phase, called telogen, after which the strand falls out and a new one begins growing. In a healthy scalp, approximately 90% of your hair is in the growth phase at any given time. After 40, this balance shifts. More strands enter the resting phase earlier than they should. Fewer strands return to growth. The cycles shorten. The hair that grows back comes in thinner, finer, more fragile. And 4 specific biological reasons drive this shift, each one beginning quietly, each one a whisper your body has been sending for years. Reason 1. DHT accumulation. DHT, dihydrotestosterone, is a hormone derived from testosterone. In your 20s and 30s, your body produces DHT efficiently and manages it well. After 40, particularly in men, but increasingly in women, as estrogen levels shift, DHT begins accumulating in the hair follicles of the scalp. Research from Columbia University shows that DHT binds to specific receptors in scalp follicles, gradually shrinking them over time. A process called follicle miniaturization. The follicle does not die, it shrinks. It produces thinner hair, then finer hair, then, in the most affected follicles, nothing at all. The key word here is gradually. This process takes years, often a decade or more, which is why so many people in their 40s look back and realize it did not happen suddenly. The whisper started long ago. Reason 2. Chronic inflammation of the scalp. This one surprises almost everyone. Hair loss is not simply a follicle problem. It is increasingly understood by researchers as an inflammatory condition. Research published in the Journal of Investigative Dermatology shows that chronic low-grade inflammation around the hair follicle, the same silent inflammation we discussed in our gut microbiome episode, directly disrupts the hair growth cycle. The inflammatory signals essentially tell the follicle, incorrectly, that it is time to rest. And in people over 40 who eat processed food regularly, experience chronic stress, or sleep poorly, this scalp inflammation is present in the vast majority of cases. The scalp you cannot see is inflamed, and inflammation never whispers loudly. Reason 3. Nutrient deficiency, the silent depletion. Your hair follicles are among the most metabolically active cells in your entire body. They require a constant consistent supply of specific nutrients to maintain the growth cycle. After 40, for reasons that include reduced stomach acid production, changes in gut microbiome diversity, and shifts in how efficiently the small intestine absorbs nutrients, deficiencies in the specific nutrients hair follicles need become increasingly common. Research from the Cleveland Clinic identifies 4 nutrients most consistently deficient in adults experiencing hair loss after 40. Iron, which carries oxygen to the follicle. Biotin, which supports keratin production. Zinc, which regulates the hair growth cycle directly. And vitamin D, the same vitamin we discussed in a previous episode, which activates the hair follicle receptors responsible for initiating new growth cycles. Your follicles are not failing, they are starving. Reason 4. Cortisol and the stress response. We discussed cortisol last week in the context of morning back pain, but cortisol has another, far less discussed, relationship with your hair. Research from Harvard Medical School, published in the journal Nature, shows that chronically elevated cortisol directly suppresses a key molecule in the scalp called GAS6, which is responsible for activating resting hair follicles and returning them to the growth phase. When cortisol is chronically elevated, as it is in the vast majority of adults over 40 in modern Western life, GAS6 activity is suppressed. The follicles stay in their resting phase longer than they should. They do not receive the signal to grow. Your stress is not just in your head, it is in your scalp. Now, the solutions, and I want to say something before we go through them. Hair loss is one of the most emotionally loaded experiences a person can have after 40. It touches identity, self-image, the quiet fear that something is changing permanently and that there is nothing you can do about it. I want to be honest with you. Some follicles, particularly those that have been miniaturized for many years, may not fully recover. But the science is clear on this. Most people experiencing hair loss after 40 have never addressed the biological causes, not the symptoms, the causes. And when you address the causes consistently, over time, the body often responds in ways that surprise people. Solution 1. Scalp inflammation protocol. The most underaddressed cause of hair loss, and the one with the most meaningful response when treated consistently. 2 approaches, both supported by research. First, an anti-inflammatory diet. The same 30 plant foods per week we discussed in our gut microbiome episode directly reduces systemic inflammation, which research suggests may benefit scalp follicle health over time by shifting the gut microbiome toward anti-inflammatory bacterial species. The gut-skin-hair connection is an active and promising area of research. Second, scalp massage. Research from Adairan's Research Institute in Japan found that 4 minutes of daily standardized scalp massage was associated with increased hair thickness after 24 weeks, with researchers suggesting improved blood flow and reduced mechanical tension in the scalp tissue as likely mechanisms. 4 minutes, every day. Solution 2. Targeted nutrient restoration. Not general supplementation. Targeted restoration of the 4 specific nutrients most consistently associated with hair loss after 40. Iron, through iron-rich whole foods. Red meat, lentils, spinach, pumpkin seeds. Combined with vitamin C to support absorption. Biotin, through eggs, almonds, sweet potato, salmon. Zinc, through oysters, beef, chickpeas, cashews. Zinc deficiency is among the more common findings in adults over 40 presenting with hair loss, though testing before supplementing is always advisable. Vitamin D, through safe morning sun exposure and fatty fish. As we discussed in a previous episode, the majority of adults over 40 are deficient, and most doctors never test for it. Food first, always. Solution 3. DHT management through lifestyle. Before reaching for pharmaceutical DHT blockers, which carry significant side effects, some research supports lifestyle interventions that may influence DHT levels and follicle sensitivity. Some research suggests that regular aerobic exercise may support healthier testosterone metabolism, which could influence DHT accumulation over time, though larger studies are still ongoing. Saw palmetto, a natural plant extract studied in several clinical trials, including research from the University of Medina, has shown promising results in reducing DHT binding to scalp follicle receptors, though results vary across individuals and studies. And reducing processed seed oils, which are high in inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids, may over time help reduce the inflammatory environment around scalp follicles. Research in this area is still emerging. These are not overnight solutions. They are consistent, patient interventions, the kind your body actually responds to. Solution 4. The Cortisol Reset. We discussed the Cortisol Reset protocol last week for back pain. The same protocol applies here, because the same hormone is disrupting both systems. Morning light exposure within 10 minutes of waking. No caffeine for the first 90 minutes. 10 minutes of walking after dinner. 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Non-negotiable after 40. And one addition specifically for hair. 5 minutes of scalp massage performed in the evening, which some research suggests may help reduce local cortisol effects at the scalp level, giving your follicles the quiet they need to return to their growth phase. Your follicles need cortisol to quiet down before they will agree to grow again. Give them the evening to recover. Here is what I want you to understand as we close. Your hair has been with you your entire life. It framed your face on your first day of school. It moved in the wind on the best days you have ever had. It has been present, quietly, faithfully, through every version of yourself you have ever been. It is not giving up. It is asking for something. And now, for the first time, you know exactly what that something is. Scalp massage tonight, an egg and some spinach tomorrow morning, a walk after dinner, 30 plants this week. Small, real, consistent. That is how you answer the whisper. How long have you been noticing your hair changing? And where in the world are you watching from? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. And if someone you love has been quietly struggling with this, share this with them today. One tap. Real science,
I know,
real change.
It is just incredible.
If you are not
That
yet
is
part
such
of the
a
Vital
wonderful
Aura
photo,
family,
right?
subscribe right now.
Oh my
Every
goodness,
Saturday,
look at her.
real science,
Wow,
real
wow,
solutions,
she has grown
zero
so
fluff.
much.
And
I
next week
know,
on Vital
it is
Aura,
just incredible.
you have been doing everything right. The diet, the exercise, the discipline, and the weight is still there. After 40, your body changes the rules, without warning, without explanation. Scientists now know exactly why, and the answer has nothing to do with willpower. It has to do with 4 hormonal and metabolic shifts that happen inside your body, silently, starting the moment you cross 40. Next Saturday, Vital Aura. The weight is not your fault. This is Vital Aura, real strength, energy, and vitality after 40.